Hello and welcome to a episode of the Euro blog for November 2022. Small disclaimer, this video may well contain triggers as we do talk about suicide, anxiety, depression, as well as things like substance abuse and a range of mental health difficulties that people face every day. So please, if you do go into this, do just be aware and make sure you look after yourself before and after, especially if that means talking to someone else and getting their support. Now, onto the vlog. Hello and welcome back to another vlog of You're Right, the Movember vlog for 2022. I'm joined today by Dakotah, who is someone that I've met through the beer struggle and what I do with them. And I'm going to hand completely over on this one to him to talk you through his subject. So I'll hand over to you, good sir.
All right. So, like you said, my name is Dakotah. I'm here to talk about kind of something that's unique, but that a lot of men definitely struggle with. I struggled with it. Currently, still kind of battling with it. It's low testosterone. Until you find out what the symptoms are, you don't know what the symptoms are, and it starts out very mild, just random afternoon fatigue, not feeling well, and then it kind of escalates and it snowballs, and then it turns into depression, and it turns into a lot of other things. So kind of give you a little bit of where I'm coming from. When I started all of this, I was 29. When I found out about it and started noticing my symptoms, noticing what was going on, I was 29. That's really young to be worried about low T. I'm now 31. So this has been kind of an ongoing struggle for 2 years. I heard about it off of a podcast. This podcast deals with a lot of veterans from, the Iraq War and everything. They've been doing studies on these guys and how these guys are, were in the military and they were great dudes. And then they get out and they just lose their mind, homelessness and everything else. They started doing research on that and found out they all have low testosterone. Anybody in America knows it's nothing for a football player to just go off the deep end and go psychotic. They start seeing low testosterone. They found out that brain damage is directly related to low testosterone. It disrupts your pituitary gland. I grew up a country kid. I played football. I've been in car accidents. I've wrecked four-wheelers. I've done everything in my life. I did rodeo. So they started talking about these symptoms, and then I started paying more attention to myself. I was dealing with afternoon fatigue. Driving home from work, I was falling asleep. A memory fog or brain fog, just like walking through life as a zombie, you can't really think clearly. And then the depression started. I've never been depressed in my life, and the depression started, and it got bad. It got real bad. It got to the point, where I'm driving home and I'm like, I'm doing 80 mile an hour down the highway. If I just turn the wheel and hit that concrete wall, it'll be over with. Or, if I do other things. And that's when I started getting scared. And then one thing I started noticing too was my anger. My anger was just shooting through the roof. I got 4 kids, and it was like there were times that I had to just completely remove myself because they would do something a little kid would do, no reason to set me off, and it would set me off. So I'd listened to this podcast, and they had a testosterone specialist on, and he's talking about it. So I went and I seen my doctor. We ran a full complete blood test. So there's 2 testosterone numbers. The first one number represents how well your body can produce testosterone. The scale on that is 10 to 19. The other number is how much testosterone your body does have. That scale is 250 to 900. Why they have such broad scales, I don't know. So I got my blood tested, and it was September of 2000, right after I turned 30. I had my testosterone production number was good. It was sitting at like 12 and a half. It was good. I was right where I should be. My actual testosterone level was sitting at 300. So my doctor said, let's try this. We started me on some vitamin D, high doses of vitamin D. I was taking 5,000 IUs of that a day. Vitamin D is a direct producer, helps you produce testosterone. And as we know, most of us work office jobs. Most of us are inside all day. We don't get the sun that we need. So I started doing that and I changed my lifestyle completely. I started watching my calories. Oh, and that's another thing about low testosterone. You gain weight. It didn't matter what I did. I could drive past a McDonald's and gain 5 pounds. It was terrible. So I completely changed my lifestyle. Exercising, eating healthy, watching my calories, taking a stack of vitamins. I feel like an old man with a pill box that I take vitamins in every day. Did this for a year straight. My strength never increased. It just, I mean, just minute amount of increase. In a year, I ended up losing about 10 pounds in total. I never missed vitamins. I did everything perfect. So I go back a year later and we test my levels and everything. I dropped my cholesterol down like 80 points. I completely changed my life. I went from somebody that was pre-diabetic, pre-heart disease, down to the picture of health, except my testosterone production number had dropped from 12.5 to 11.5. So my body was slowly quitting producing testosterone. My testosterone numbers it went from 300 to 350. Part of that was my vitamin D levels came into effect. And there are certain things that you can do to help naturally increase your testosterone. Exercising legs. Working your legs produces testosterone. Getting the proper amount of sleep. 8 hours of sleep every day produces testosterone. Your body produces more testosterone in the morning than it does at night, right as soon as you wake up. So my blood test was in the morning after a leg day, all that kind of thing. So I kind of had artificial numbers. This is where sometimes it's best to skip the family doctor and move to a specialist. So I had my doctor looked at me and goes, well, you still have testosterone, so you're okay. The 350 mark is the testosterone level that a 70-year-old man should have. I was 30. And some things in my life had improved. The mental fogginess was mostly clear. The depression had kind of gone away. It was still somewhat there. So I started looking around and exploring my options. One of my biggest issues was without a referral from my doctor, I could not get into a specialist. So this is where I would, and I tried looking around for other doctors. I could not get other doctors to really see me. Everybody was booked, or everybody, it was the whole doctor charade. This is where I don't recommend people doing what I did, but it's proving what I did is proving what I thought it was. And I'm then going to take this evidence back to my doctor and have it done the right way. I have friends in the weightlifting community, bodybuilders. I knew where to go to get testosterone without a doctor. So that's what I did. I have been on that since September of last year. I am taking right at 100 milligrams of testosterone twice a week. Testosterone has a half-life of 7 days. So by splitting up your dose across 2 days, you keep a more level levels. Since I started giving myself testosterone, the mental fog is completely gone. I have lost since September. I've dropped down to about 190. When I started all this 2 years ago, I was 225. So I'm down to 190. I've gained muscle like it's a crime. I mean, I feel like I'm 18 again. I'm so strong, and the depression is gone. I mean, if I'm if I'm wore out at the end of the day, it's because I had a hard day at work or something like that. It's not just because I just woke up tired. It's completely changed everything around. And now I get to go back to my doctor and go, so this is what I did. This is what my results were. We need to get on testosterone. But this is, I mean, I preach it to anybody. If you were a young guy and you just lived life, got into car accidents, got thrown off a horse, got thrown off a four-wheeler or something like that, and you're suffering with these issues, or you were a veteran. I mean, and it's not just American veterans, it's veterans all across the globe. I mean, everybody was just involved in this last 20-year war that we, kind of just got out of. Um, every male needs to be getting his testosterone checked. Since 1960, male testosterone levels naturally have dropped 50%. So, back, everybody hears their grandparents say, oh, well, they just don't make men like they used to. Well, I mean, when our testosterone numbers are lower, there's not a lot we can do. I mean, what makes us a man is not physically there anymore. And part of that is diet. Part of that is the plastics. They're finding that we're carrying more plastics in our bloodstream from water bottles and everything in our life that's plastic anymore. And it's all negatively affecting testosterone. And it's definitely something scary because, like I said, I was never a depressed person. I was never one of those people that dealt with it. And then whenever you're just like, you know what, I should just end this all and be done with it. It's rather scary.
It's definitely something that I've never heard of. Although I do have family members that have low testosterone. But that is due to other medical complications that have come up over the years that have led to that. I've never heard of it naturally, but I guess that's maybe my own ignorance towards it, maybe. But I'm very glad, really, as I just said just before we started, that this has come up as a topic because it's not something that I would have knowledgeably went out and gone, right, I want to talk about on one of these vlogs. Low testosterone. It's not something that I would have put forward and gone inside my head, yes, this needs to be a topic. But actually, just from that small text interaction we had, it was like, actually, this is a key topic that doesn't actually exist yet that maybe should. The Movember charity does a lot of work, not with direct projects, but it funds every project that can apply to it to go and do this for research. And while they haven't researched and funded something directly to low testosterone, they are looking at levels changing within males is the project in the overall. So they're looking at stuff like how your brain chemicals reacting now in comparison to several years ago. And I can only really hope that for everyone out there that low T is part of that section, that we're all going to look at this hormone that we've got and maybe actually see and make it more evident that there is something coming up and to go and get tested. Until you said it, I wasn't even aware that we could be tested for it.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely something that isn't known.
I had a friend that I work with at work, and he got so bad to where he wasn't even wanting to have intercourse anymore. He wasn't in the mood. It was a struggle to get it up and everything. And he's 26, 27. And I told him, I was like, go get your levels checked. Because I hadn't hit that point, but I had hit the whole quote unquote minute man point. Like it was, I couldn't last. And that's something else that's changed since I've been doing testosterone and everything. I'm 18 again. I mean, that's the easiest way to describe it. And without getting into graphic detail, that's the best way to describe it. I'm 18 again. And he went and got his levels checked, and he was down in the 150 mark. I mean, he was 150 was his level as a 26-year-old man. That is, I mean, that's not good. And he hasn't even had near as rough of a life as I had, And I mean, like I said, I've done everything. I've done rodeo. I don't know how many four-wheelers I've rolled. I was a firefighter for 10 years. I played football. So I have a lot of head trauma. Man, playing football, there were, I had headaches that lasted for a week. That's 100% a concussion. And they have directly determined that head injuries over a long periods of time will disrupt the pituitary gland, which the pituitary gland controls the production of testosterone. So, it definitely makes sense. And, they see it in NFL players and football players. They're starting to see it more. It's starting to show up a lot more in rugby and everything like that too. So it's definitely, it's starting to gain traction, and I think everybody's starting to take notice of it. But no man wants to go to the doctor and admit, go to a doctor and be like, hey, I can't, I'm having these dark thoughts and everything. Because as men, we're groomed to tough it out. You need to be a man. Just rub some dirt on it and go on. To a degree, yes, we should do it, but you have to sit down and say to yourself, if I'm having these issues, I need to go get some medical attention to find out. Just go get a blood panel. Most insurances will cover one blood panel a year. Just go have a checkup done with a blood panel. That's all. And low T also directly relates to a higher risk of prostate cancer and a higher risk of I think there's a total of 3 or 4 cancers that having low testosterone gives you a higher risk of getting. And if they have creams for low testosterone, they have pills, they have actual injections if you're not afraid of needles. So there are tons of routes to go, and it will change everything about your life if your levels are low and you get them back right.
And I really want to thank you about sharing your life story really around that with us. Again, it's something that I think that a lot more men, and we're normally our own worst enemy with it, need to be able to have these sorts of conversations and feel confident and comfortable having these sorts of conversations. I have for years, and that's realistically what I tried to incite throughout November 2021 before it became this vlog series in November 2022.
Right.
Just before we head to an end, is there any other comments that you'd like to make around the subject?
It's once, and hopefully me saying what I've said today will spark something inside you and make you think, wait a minute, I'm having these issues and I'm having all this. Because I have a great job. My kids are running around in the background. I got 4 kids. I've got a beautiful wife. My life was great, and I was ready to end it all because of this. And it was something that I couldn't even control. It didn't matter what I did to try to make myself happy. I couldn't control it because it was an actual chemical imbalance in me. Don't be afraid to go see your doctor and tell him what's going on, and just have a blood panel ran. Do a full blood panel, and it will tell you anything that's wrong. And don't be afraid to do it. It's not gonna make you less of a man, and in all honesty, it could make you more of a man.
Thank you very much for coming on here and talking about your experiences. And I really hope that if there is anyone out there that is linking themselves the symptoms that have been spoken to, that you can do your own research, get online, get in touch with your doctor, and hopefully actually just have this be seen, have your bloods checked, have your testosterone levels checked, and who knows, maybe it's just what you need. Thank you again for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. And guys, as always, I will see you guys tomorrow for the next vlog. Stay safe and have a wonderful day. Goodbye.
Thank you for watching that Euro vlog. It's been a phenomenal journey that we've been on to get this far, and we're hoping that it will long outlive the vlog series. But it's not over there. There is more to be done, and there is a donation link to the Movember charity inside the description. If you can donate, please do consider it, or even if you can just spread that link far and wide, get as many people to donate as possible, that's also fantastic. We are actively making a change, and you're part of that. So thank you. I'll see you tomorrow.